Hey guys, today we're looking at Reddit posts so ridiculous, they just have to be fake. So, have you heard of the different love languages? If not, it's basically just a theory on how people have different ways they express their love and affection. Some people show love verbally, or through touch, or even through gift giving. But I did not know that biting was one of those love languages. Am I the a-hole for saying no when my girlfriend wants to express her love language? As in, bite me? I, 33 male, and my girlfriend, 25 female, have been together for over a year. It's nice, fun. She sleeps too much, is always tired. You know, the usual. No complaints there. The problem is that she likes to bite me. A lot. And I don't like being bitten every hour. So I'm defending myself and saying no. But she doesn't listen. She says this is her love language and that I'm ruining her opportunity to show me her love. That she's feeling abandoned by my actions. As a compromise, I can manage being bitten once, maybe twice a day, but apparently this is still not enough for her. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my girlfriend express her love language? Update. Thanks for the feedback. I'm kinda overwhelmed. I was wondering about the whole, is this even a love language thing? Spoiler, it's not. She read the comments and promised to scale it down to something more manageable. In return, I promised to be more open to exploring some new things that she proposed. Yeah, it's related. Are you sure you're not dating a drop bear? Does she like her steak a little on the extra rare side? Might want to invest in some bear spray. This next story, I'm almost certain is an AI story, but let me know if you disagree. Am I the a-hole for refusing to wear coloured contacts for my wedding because my fiancé thinks my natural eye colour is too intense? So I, 28 female, have naturally very light grey blue eyes. It's something that people have commented on my entire life. Some people say it looks striking, others say they're a little unnerving. I never really thought much of it until I got engaged to my now fiancé, 30 male. His family is very traditional, and recently his mother pulled me aside and kindly suggested that I wear coloured contacts on my wedding day because my icy eyes might look too intense in the photos and soft brown would be more elegant. I laughed it off, thinking it was a weird joke, but then my fiancé brought it up too, saying his family thinks it would look better if I went with a more warm and inviting look for our wedding. I told him, absolutely not. This is my natural eye colour, and I'm not going to alter my appearance just to please his family. He said it's not a big deal, and that he doesn't personally care, but he thinks I should just do it to just keep the peace. Now his family is acting like I'm being difficult over something small, and my fiancé is frustrated that I'm turning this into an argument. But to me, it is a big deal. Why should I have to change something about myself just because they don't like it? Am I the a-hole for refusing? Too long, didn't read. My fiancé's family thinks my natural eye colour is too intense and have asked me to wear coloured contacts for our wedding. I refused, and now they think I'm being difficult. Am I the a-hole? Ah yes, the good old days, when brides would simply change their eye colour at the request of their in-laws. How very untraditional of OP for refusing. Yeah, I don't think AI gets how unrealistic this is. Am I the a-hole for refusing to help my parents after they told me I'm not living with them anymore? Posted by Ligma for a Knife. Hey Reddit, I am 17 male and I'm staying with my grandma right now because my parents told me I'm not living with them anymore. Now they're upset that I won't help them around their house, but I don't see why I should. Here's what happened. A couple of weeks ago, I came out as gay to my parents. They didn't take it well at all. My mum started crying and my dad just sat there looking disappointed. They said that they loved me but needed time to process it. After that, things got super tense at home. My parents started nitpicking everything I did. They'd get mad at me if I didn't do the dishes right away or if I didn't take the trash out. My mum would always say stuff like, "You need to learn some responsibility," and my dad would say, "This is part of being a family." It felt like they were just looking for reasons to yell at me. The breaking point happened last week. My mum asked me to vacuum the living room and I told her, "I'll do it later, I'm busy right now." She said, "No, You need to do it right now. And I told her, why does it even matter? It's not like anyone's coming over. That set her off, and she started yelling about how I never help out and don't respect her. My dad got involved and said I had an attitude problem and I needed to start pulling my weight. I got frustrated and said maybe I'd actually want to help if you didn't make everything about how much I disappoint you. My dad snapped and said, if you can't follow our rules, you're not living with us anymore. I thought he was bluffing, but my mum immediately started packing my stuff and said I could go stay with my grandma until I learned how to be part of a family. So now I'm at my grandma's house. She's nice, but she keeps telling me that I need to apologize to my parents. Meanwhile, my parents have been texting me non-stop, asking me to come over and help with things like babysitting my little brother, mowing the lawn, or helping my dad with a project in the garage. I told them no because they literally told me I'm not living there anymore, so why should I help? My mum called me selfish and said, we're still your parents and you need to step up when we need you. I told her if you needed my help so bad, maybe you shouldn't have kicked me out. She hung up, and now my grandmother is mad at me for being disrespectful. I don't think I'm wrong here. They told me I'm not part of the household anymore, so why should I act like I am? Am I the a-hole? Sorry, they asked you to come over to do chores for them after they kicked you out of the house? Unreal. You know how it's sometimes kind of hard to tell if a story is real or just another AI experiment? Well, this story is not like that. I'm like 90% sure that this is fake, but it's just too absurd to not include. But hey, let me know if you disagree. Today I effed up. I accidentally became the villain in my neighbour's family drama. Post by Kitchen Guide 7793. I'm not proud of what happened, but I figured I'd share because it's just too wild to keep to myself. So I, 30 female, live in a nice quiet neighbourhood, and everything was great until my new neighbour moved in. Let's call him Tom. Tom seemed like a perfectly nice guy, maybe a little too quiet, but that's no red flag, right? Everything was normal for the first few weeks. I'd wave hello and we'd have a small talk about the weather or the occasional DIY project. Then, one day, Tom asked if he could borrow my ladder. His fence had fallen down and he needed to fix it. No big deal, I thought, so I let him borrow it, and that was that. Fast forward a few days, and Tom starts acting a little off. He becomes increasingly distant when I wave, and I can sense some weird tension in the air. I thought it was just me overthinking things, until one night I get a knock on my door. It's Tom, but he's not alone. He's with his wife, and she looks livid. She says, I need to talk to you about the ladder, in a way that makes me feel like I'm being accused of something. Turns out, Tom's been using that ladder for far more than just fixing his fence. He'd used it to sneak over to his ex-wife's house next door and patch things up. Apparently, Tom's ex had moved out after a messy divorce, and Tom had been pretending to borrow my ladder to secretly sneak into her house and work things out with her. The ladder was his gateway to rekindling their old relationship. His wife is furious because she had no idea about any of this and caught him red-handed. She blamed me for lending him the ladder in the first place, as if I knew he'd use it for that. In that moment, I realised I'd accidentally become an unintentional accomplice in a love triangle I never wanted to be a part of. Tom's wife ended up giving him an ultimatum, and he moved out a week later. But now every time I see him, he looks at me like I'm the one who ruined his life. Moral of the story, never lend out your ladder, and never trust a guy who can't fix his own fence. Too long didn't read. Lent my ladder to my neighbour to fix his fence, only to find out that he was using it to sneak into his ex-wife's house, and I unintentionally became the villain in his messy family drama. So he divorced his ex-wife, who then moves in next door to him and his new wife. He then decides to cheat with her, but instead of using the door like a normal cheating scumbag, he asks to borrow his neighbour's ladder? And then his wife, on catching them, gets mad at the neighbour who lent him the ladder? What? I think AI is just using Reddit as a way to learn how to appear more human, so we can't tell the difference when they decide to take over. But seriously, if you think I'm wrong and this story might actually be real, let me know. Am I the a-hole for refusing to change my baby's name after my sister announced that she wanted to use it? Post by Kind Pia. I, 31 female, had my first baby, a boy, 3 months ago. My husband and I picked out his name, Leo, long before he was born. It's a name we both love, and we didn't share it with anyone until he was born to keep it special between us. Recently, my sister, 28 female, announced that she and her husband are expecting their first child, a boy, and she was thrilled to tell everyone that they'd chosen the name Leo for him. When I reminded her that my son's name is already Leo, she seemed genuinely shocked, saying she totally forgot and thought it wouldn't matter if we share the name. I gently told her that I wasn't comfortable with our sons having the exact same name, especially since we were close and the cousins were likely going to see each other often. She got upset, saying I was being territorial and that I don't own the name. My mum is now asking me to consider changing my baby's name or letting it go so my sister can use it too. She asked you to change your child's name? A child that's been living with that name for 3 months? So your sister can use it for a future child? I feel frustrated because this is the name that my husband and I carefully picked, and now I'm being made to feel like I'm causing family drama over it. I've refused to change his name, but now some family members think I'm being difficult. Am I the a-hole for not changing my son's name, even though my sister now wants to use it? Oh wow, if this is real, keep the name. Just call his cousin Leo 2 or Leo the 2nd. Am I the a-hole for refusing to attend my brother's funeral because he faked his death to teach me a lesson? So here's the story. My 26 female, brother Jason, 28 male, has always been a bit dramatic. He thrives on pulling elaborate pranks and teaching life lessons that no one asked for. A few weeks ago, I forgot to pick him up from the airport because I was stuck at work and my phone died. He ended up having to take an Uber home, which he was clearly mad about and kept saying things like, "What if something bad happened to me? Would you even notice?" Okay, so is it wrong to leave someone hanging like that? Yes, of course. But was his reaction the most dramatic response ever? Also yes. Fast forward to last week. I got a frantic call from my mum, sobbing and telling me Jason had died in a car accident. I was devastated. She told me that there was going to be a small memorial service at our family's house and that I needed to come immediately. I took the day off work, bought a black dress, and even wrote a speech about how much Jason meant to me. I showed up at the house, only to walk into the living room and see Jason, alive, sitting in a chair with a smug look on his face. The rest of the family was there too, looking sheepish. Wow, the whole family was in on it? Jason stood up and said, "Surprise! Now you know how it feels to lose me." I lost it. Apparently, this whole thing was an elaborate stunt to teach me a lesson about valuing the people in my life. He said he wanted to make sure that I'd never forget to pick him up or take him for granted ever again. My mum and dad had gone along with it because they didn't know how else to get through to me. What a bunch of weirdos! I called him a psychopath and stormed out. Now, Jason is furious, saying I'm being dramatic. He said you're dramatic? He literally faked his own death. Pretty sure if you look up the word dramatic in the dictionary, you'll find fake death as an example. Saying I'm being dramatic and that I can't take a joke. My parents think I should let it go because technically no one got hurt. But I've refused to speak to Jason ever since, and I told my family I'm not attending any future events if he's there. Jason texted me last night saying I'm being immature and making him look bad to the rest of the family. A few relatives have chimed in saying I overreacted and need to lighten up. Am I the a-hole for cutting off my brother after he faked his death? Or should I have just laughed it off and appreciate the lesson because right now I'm seriously questioning if I'm in the Twilight Zone? You should cut him off and tell him that you're just embracing his lesson by acting like he's really dead. Otherwise, how else will you learn? So help me out here and let me know what you guys think. Which ones are real and which ones are fake? It's kind of hard to believe that anyone could be this deranged, but none of them even come close to how insane OP's mother-in-law is in the next video. She literally keeps insisting that her and her partner are siblings. Click here to see that, and thanks for watching.